Hi, and welcome to our new video.
Hi, welcome everyone.
So today we have a special topic prepared. We are going to discuss the current state, what we are dealing with on, I would say, more energetic, emotional level. We are not going to talk about the political stuff or what is going on with the other things, but mostly what we are dealing with currently on an emotional level. So, Dushiela, do you want to start?
Yeah, so we're going to look at our personal journeys and where we are currently, individually and collectively. But Thomas, before we go into that, I'd like to maybe just share some information that we get from ancient wisdom and ancient texts that talks about evolution, and it talks about the cycles that planet Earth goes through, that the world goes through. And we have a 26,000 year cycle that the Earth moves through. And we are currently coming to the end of one such cycle, and we are moving from what is called Kali Yuga to Sat Yuga. And Sat means truth, which means we are now entering into an age of truth. And that truth is about ourselves. We are moving into a time where we are going to be discovering a lot more about who we are as divine beings. And those discoveries are going to help us to create a world which is more in line with the golden age. And I'm sure many people have heard that term before, that we are moving into the golden age. So we currently find ourselves in this transition period. It doesn't always feel comfortable. And we want to talk a little bit more about that as well, what some people may be feeling and how we can move through that more easily.
Wonderful. Thank you for adding that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for people to have a kind of better understanding what we are talking about, let's focus on the qualities, I would say, the expression of oneself. And through the difficulties, and even though in the Kali Yuga, in the darker times, there were holy people, saints, prophets, and masters that taught us how to be loving, compassionate, joyous, and all those beautiful qualities they've embodied. They shared those teachings, those beautiful ways how to live. So this is the new paradigm in which we all wish to be, in which we all wish to have and embody. So would you like to continue with that or add to that?
Absolutely. So we talk about qualities like love, like compassion, and those are the qualities that we want to see the new world imbibed with. So I guess what we also need to be looking at is what is collapsing. So a lot of the old structures are collapsing. A lot of the old ways of being are collapsing as well. And I guess that's what makes this current situation or time that we find ourselves in very uncertain. Because when we look to the past, we see collapse. But when we look to the future, we can't really see what that looks like. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what the new structures are going to look like. Are we going to have new formations in government, in corporates, in healthcare, in education? And we most probably will, but we don't have a clue in terms of what that looks like. But Thomas, as you're saying, what we can do, what we can focus on are the qualities that we want to bring in, the qualities that we want to underlie all of these new structures. So we want more compassion in our world. We want more unity. We want more community. We want more love, more care. And although we don't really know what the structures are going to look like, we can focus on those qualities so that whatever does get created will be on that foundation of the qualities that we've just mentioned that the masters have taught us for so many years. So what specifically should we be looking at, Thomas? Should we focus maybe on what people are feeling at the moment?
Yeah, we can touch on that, and it's important to reflect and acknowledge that it is not an easy process, and on an individual and a collective level, we are dealing with a lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil, internal, external, a lot of fear, uncertainty, and this is really not the great experience to have, but it is a transition, and we are going through some releasing of the old, and these are the old patterns, the old energies. In order to get rid of that, well, it has to be released. So this is a process of release that we are experiencing, and acknowledging that this has been underneath our conscious awareness. It has been there all along, hidden, and now it's more visible and more showing itself to us.
If I can just add, you talk about a lot of the emotional stuff that's coming up. So there's also been a lot of loss. And a lot of people are also finding that some parts of their identity are being lost as well. So did you maybe experience any of that in this process?
Yeah, it's like standing on a bridge that wobbles, and you don't know if it's gonna hold. You don't want to go back to the chaos and turmoil and all that stuff. And you are walking towards something that you hope will be sustainable and working for you and for everyone. So as I gave you that metaphor, this is also that as I shedded some of the fears and of the traumas that were lingering below the surface in the subconscious mind, the new, the healed part of myself, there was like I couldn't recognize myself after the process. I kind of claimed that was part of me, the pain and that traumas that I've endured were part of me, but that's not true. That's not true at all. So there is a loss of identity in some case, because identity is also what we think we are. And when I thought that this is me, that this is who I am, and this is how I'm supposed to be, and it is not true, well, then it creates, it doesn't work. So we have to let go of certain parts of ourselves that we think are ourselves, but that they are not. They're not serving us. And in order to do that, we kind of wish to hold to the energies, as you've mentioned previously, of the love, of the compassion, of peace, to help us to transition fully to that, through that bridge, through that transition period, and to anchor fully in that state.
Mm-hmm. So during this time, people may also be having a change of heart in terms of maybe hobbies. A lot of people have lost their jobs. So there may be a lot of things that are coming to a stop, that are coming to a halt. And people are being redirected to start to look inward. And it's exactly linked to what we were saying in the introduction, that this is a period that we're moving into where we are being encouraged to discover more of our divinity, more of who we are at a deeper level, at a soul level. And the only way we can do that is to look inward. And a lot of people are finding that they're now doing that more and more. So a lot more people are meditating, and you don't only have to do this, or meditation is not the only way to do this, but a lot of people are finding creative expression in different types of activities, but getting more in touch with their real selves, their true selves. And this process will also help people to discover what brings them more joy, what brings them more excitement. So, in the new, as we start to form and create a new world, a new future, we can also then make more conscious decisions in terms of what do we want to spend our time doing? What should our lives look like? How do we bring in more joy and more love, more happiness, more abundance into our lives? And when we do that individually, collectively, the picture is going to look very different going forward as well.
Yeah. So, should we suggest some useful techniques to help with the transition and help to anchor with the new energies, or even the release of the old?
Yeah, I think that could be quite helpful as well, because we were talking earlier that this is very similar to going on a journey, on a trip. So if you imagine yourself going on an international trip and you now at the airport, you've checked in and you're now in the waiting area. So you are waiting, you've got all this time, you've got to wait to be called to move on to the next stage. And what do you do with your time? There are a lot of ways that you can use the time currently if you have lost your job or you during an in-between stage. So there are things that can be done. And Thomas, maybe you want to just take us through what are some of those things and maybe some strategies of how to deal with the emotional stuff that may be coming up as well.
Yeah. Well, as you mentioned, meditation is one of the very useful tools beyond, yeah, that is all encompassing for that process. And the simplest techniques are usually the most easily adopted. So one of the simplest techniques is to breathe. And it sounds really like we, should, we are breathing all the time, but no, really. To breathe, to allow ourselves to breathe in. And when we're breathing in, we can allow the energy that we want to have, let's say peace, joy, excitement, to breathe it in. We can also breathe in the smells that we love, the colors that we enjoy, everything. So it's also exercise of allowing ourselves to receive what we truly want, and it's an amazing exercise how well it works. So would you agree, and would you add another technique, for example?
Okay, so just on the breathing, so it's deep breathing, so breathing in as you said, but then also on the out breath, so when you're breathing out, you can also just picture what are you breathing out. So you can release stress, you can release tension, and as you're breathing in your favorite color, you can also visualize a color for that stress or that energy that you want to breathe out, give it a color and breathe that out as well. So that could be quite helpful as well. I think another strategy that I want to mention is focus. Because during this time, it's also we could get drawn into everything that we don't want. So we could get drawn into our loss and we can get stuck in that place in terms of how much I've lost, how much things are not working out for me, why am I being punished? We can get stuck in this victim mode. But if we focus and let it be a conscious focus on what it is that you do want. So focus every day as much as you can on what is it that you want to create, what is it that you want to bring in. So focus on an income that you want to generate, focus on relationships that you want to bring in, that you want to improve, focus on the joy, the love, and participate in those activities that bring you that joy, that happiness. So I would say focus is very, very important as well, because whatever we focus on is what we are creating.
Yeah, there is one other technique, and I don't want to overwhelm people with giving so too many techniques and tips, but this is again a very simple one. There is a white light or divine light that is shining, is a special spiritual light that helps us to connect to who we are, to the God, to the source. And if we allow ourselves to be aligned with that light that comes from above to our crown chakra, through our body, aligning every chakra within our body and coming through the root. And it doesn't have to be in a meditation. It could be very simple, just, okay, I want to align with the white light. So, and you just feel yourself doing that in any activity. And it really readjusts you and helps you to center and to be more balanced.
Okay, so that sounds very helpful as well. So, as we were saying, while we're waiting, while we're in this waiting period, there are things that we can do to make us feel better. So, as you would in an airport, you would use the time to either read a book or have a nap or browse around the airport, play a game. There are things that we can do right now as well in terms of using our time more effectively and helping us to focus on that wonderful destination that we want to get to. So have that same level of excitement in terms of where you imagine that we could be getting to as well. And Thomas, although we did say that there are things that are irritating, even on taking a trip and going through security, for example, at the airport, one of the most irritating things, because you've got to take out your belt, you've got to take out whatever they ask you to take out. When you're in the plane and the flight attendant is telling you about all the safety checks, maybe you get a bit of anxiety. It's very similar to that process, but try and just focus on the end game and where we're going to end up, and know that it is going to be a beautiful end game if that is what you're focusing.
Yeah. So
What
let's
else,
enjoy our trip together.
Yeah, we're doing it collectively, so we are doing it together, which is wonderful because people are there to support each other. And can I maybe at this stage, Thomas, just talk a little bit about the divine feminine energy that is also coming into the world in a more stronger capacity right now. So the divine feminine energy is very similar to the divine mother energy. It's about nurturing, it's about unity, it's about community, it's about compassion, it's about care. And we are seeing those qualities being displayed more and more strongly by people as we're going through this time on earth, which is evidence that the divine feminine energies are being grounded more strongly through each and every one of us. So it's important for us just to open up to those energies and to feel those energies as well. And one of the qualities of the divine feminine energy is receptivity. So to be open to receive. So just know as well that there is a lot of abundance that is there, that is available if we focus on it and if we open ourselves to receive that abundance. So be conscious about your thinking, about your belief around what do you deserve. If you believe you deserve to receive abundance, open up and you will bring that more into your life as well. So I just wanted to make you aware as well in terms of this beautiful divine feminine energy that is flowing into our earth right now, and that is there for us to help us to move more easily with more love, more joy, more unity, more care, more compassion through this time as well. And Thomas, as you said, we are doing it together. We are all moving along this wave together collectively to create a beautiful future for all of us.
Beautiful. So I think this is a wonderful message for us to sink in with and to end our today's conversation, our video. So thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hopefully enjoy our video, and post a comment if you do.
Wonderful. And thanks for joining us, and best wishes to all of you going forward. Bye.
Bye.